Okay, my next video here is on how to make hills or raised terrain-based stuff. My first piece that I'm going to show you is one I made for Sandland. I'll zoom out here a little bit. This is one to go on my one table I've been making in all my videos here. Sort of a rock-based hill, muddy look, a little bit of sort of real rockish type look to it. On top is just basic sand that you can find kicking around sort of anywhere. But anyways, this tutorial here will teach you how to make one of these pieces. It's very actually simple to do. Like you can tell, it's really sort of rough and whatnot along here. Not sure if I can really zoom in that well. Like it's really rough. Looks really good when it's fully painted. It's actually quite impressive. It turned out really well for what I thought it would really do. But anyways, this is how you're going to want to start off. I'll put this piece back down here. What you want to get is 1-inch foam that you can buy at your basically any hardware store. It doesn't have to be an inch, but it works really nicely at an inch. Pink, blue, it doesn't really matter what color it is. It all, just as long as this is high density foams, I can't really remember what it's called. But anyways, how I basically made this cliff here, I took a piece of what I thought would be, roughly a good size. No, you can, of course, design it however you want, but I just use a utility knife here. Just for example here, I just gotta get that on. Just cut pieces off like so. Break a nice little chunk off. And make it look more rockish like. Once you got, we'll say this is the shape that you want to go for. Now that you kind of got it there, just use your thumb and press down on it, breaking it off. Of course, you got to go quite on the top part there, just to kind of make it look good. But afterwards, what you get is a sort of, whoops, I'm off with the camera there. What you get is a real sort of rough look to the side here. And I wouldn't worry about the, well, I can't seem to hold the camera and just grab it at the same time. I'm on a bad day here today. Don't worry about this little rough edge. You might get like a little bit of a cliff down on it. That's okay. The part I showed you, it has that, and it worked really nice with everything. But like I was saying, just keep sort of using your thumb, breaking it off in sort of chunks. It might tire out your thumbs there for a little bit there, so take a break every so once in a while, but just sort of keep wearing it down with your thumbs, and then go sideways and stuff like that, just sort of breaking off any loose pieces. But anyways, once you got sort of your really rough, once again with the camera, I'm just not having a good day here, folks. But like I said, once you got this all worn off, I use your basic modeling paint, which is, I use this Craft acrylics, sort of weird. Now you can buy this at any sort of hobby store. Colors, I use a black undercoating to cover the whole side, your sides, your top. You wouldn't have to really worry about the bottom too terribly much, because of course, once again, you won't see that. But just sort of break it off once you have everything cleaned up and looking the way you want it. Paint it all black. Make sure you get into every little crack, every little crevice, just so it turns out fairly decent. And once it's dried black, paint it a dark brown color. Yeah, I got this part already ready to go here. It's actually ready for sand here soon. Paint it a dark brown, which works really good for your first coat. Of course, leave some of the black on the rough side that you had moved with your thumb. And once you've done that, take a lighter color brown and just sort of dry brush it on. Now, anyone familiar with any of the Warhammer painting skills or just miniature figurine painting, dry brushing is just sort of let it dry on the brush a little and sort of slap it on really roughly. And that gives you sort of real rough sort of look here. Once you got that done, of course, apply a sand, or you don't even have to put a sand on here. You could leave it like this or put a grass formula on it. That's a weird sort of colored paper thing or whatever. Glue whatever you want on here. Make sure you cover the whole area, leaving your side here. Now this piece here is sort of a mountain part that you can kind of climb on. I'll just bring the part up, the guy up here. So that's sort of the scale of this guy here. Now this is quite big. Now, when you're making ramps and stuff like that, just remember, you want to have it as sort of an equal flush going up. You don't want to have it too wavy. If you have it too wavy, you're going to have problems with your guys falling off, and also if it's too steep. Like whoops, I see, here I'm talking about steepness, and my guy won't even stay up now. You want to have it like at a certain sort of set distance, so it doesn't want to fall over. But of course, this part's not the world's best. I'm not an excellent terrain maker, but like I made it wide enough that you can get a rhino or possibly even a land raider to come up onto this hill part, so you can have it on a little bit higher grounds. One thing that this would be really good for is if you had a little bit of debris or something, just put debris up here and you could have people shoot down, which you'd get your cover saves and all that sort of stuff. This is a very, very cheap piece of terrain that you can build very easily, very quick, and it's basically affordable for anyone. My budget, I put basically my most expensive thing that I had to purchase was the foam itself, which was at my hardware store was $40, but that was, I think it was like a 4 foot by 8 foot piece, which is just overkill. Like, I think the biggest piece we have here is just over a square foot. So, like, really, you don't need a lot. But really well done products that if you want to make some cheap sort of display. Of course, I never really got to show you guys step by step as well as I wanted to, but, like, figure it out. It's quite easy to understand. Just sort of break it off with your thumb and just smooth it out, make it look rock-like. Like on this top part here, I got it going in a little bit underneath and try to make it real like rocky look. Side here, I cut some gouges into it and broke it off in chunks, and then used my thumb to break some of the parts off afterwards, make it like a rock formation. This is just cheap stuff. The people at Games Workshop, they do sort of the same thing with a lot of their terrain that they personally make. This is not the world's best, but people, this is just cheap terrain. If you guys want to go out and buy a rock formation for that, 60, 70 bucks, go right ahead. But if you want something cheap and easy to make, this is what I'm just trying to help you out here. Like, I showed you in my last video about the cityscape and all that type of stuff. Like, that's something I went out and bought. That was $90. You can make something very easy, very cheap. Like, I got a piece here. Very cheap, very easy. There's a ruin. Just a building that I made. Very cheap, very easy. Put together, somewhat, not the world's best, but it gives you what you need. You don't need to go out and buy that 90, 80, whatever, $400 piece of terrain. Homemade stuff is just as good as the stuff you buy out in the store. Besides that, I really encourage you guys, make your own terrain, experiment. There's nothing better than seeing people going out building their own terrain. I mean, lots of interesting stuff. If you guys are really into this kind of stuff and really interested in terrain or Warhammer, I'd highly recommend you go to www.miniwargaming.com. Really good site. You get to see a lot of stuff on there. Like it's dedicated to 40K quite a bit, but there's all different base stuff. Like you don't need just this terrain for 40K. There's other games. There's plenty of tabletop games that you can use this terrain in, and I mean really good stuff. But anyways, I guess I'll see you guys in my next video here later on. I'm not quite sure what it might be on later, but you know, stuff comes pretty quick. Like I said, cheap terrain, make it yourself. If there's any questions, do leave a comment or something on. But like really, it's cheap terrain, guys. It doesn't really matter. It looks good, looks crappy. Everyone has their own sort of opinion. But this is what I make, helping some guys out that might not know how to do it. Cheap, easy stuff, people. Till next time.